Why, hello there, everyone. Welcome to my mid-season 3 patch note review for Gundam Evolution. I was originally planning on doing a live reaction to their live stream at the end of my live stream on March 3rd, but I had been playing Fist of the North Star fitness boxing, and I was doing that boxing for 3 hours straight, and it got me pretty tired and sweaty, and I really didn't feel like doing a live reaction to an hour-plus long live stream of theirs right after that. So I just decided that I would read the details later, which is what I did. So obviously there are several details that you can find about this. I would have definitely made sure to watch the live stream in real time if that's where they were going to do the mobile suit reveal. But in this case, it was a little weird because they announced the mobile suit beforehand, right? They announced the heavy arms beforehand. They basically announced it twice beforehand. And then they did the live stream just to go over events and balance adjustments, obviously. So a little weird. I kind of wish that from now on they would go back to revealing the mobile suit in the actual live stream because it's more exciting to watch the live stream that way. But maybe they just wanted to make a weird exception for heavy arms for whatever reason. Also, before I get into this, venting a little bit, I have been going crazy trying to troubleshoot these audio issues I've been having with my mic, specifically in how OBS is recording my mic sound. And that's obviously super important for me, right? Because I do all of these talking videos. It's pretty much just talking. And so I need it to sound good, right? But I knew I couldn't just spend days working on this because I need to hurry up and record this video while it's still timely, right? So hopefully this sounds good enough for you guys. And I'm just going to cross my fingers. I think I got it sounding okay, at least better than it did in the last video. So anyways, Season 3, Ignition. We know Heavy Arms is getting added. I'm not going to really go over the other details like the events and stuff. You can read that yourself. I'm mostly concerned with talking about the actual balance changes. And I have not seen these yet, so this is going to be sort of a hot take video. And it's going to become active on March 8th. Also, a little disclaimer before I look at these patch notes. I'm not super familiar with how the meta has evolved in this most recent patch because I did play on this most recent patch. However, it was at the very beginning of it when Hyperion was brand new. I really have not played the game much this season. I did do some tournaments, but those tournaments were, like I said, around when Hyperion was brand new. And then after doing those tournaments, I played ranked a little bit by myself, but not very much. So it's possible that I'm lacking some context to fully judge these patch notes, but I doubt that the meta changed that much because I'm pretty sure people figured out how to use Hyperion pretty early. So anyways, Pale Rider, since the Season 2 update, the number of units wielding shields has increased. That's true, they're talking about Hyperion, obviously, leading to a lower win rate for Pale Rider. Yeah, because Pale Rider uses live ammunition, that's his main damage source. And so if everyone is using these shields, it blocks him from doing his main damage, right? And more situations in which it cannot take down its opponents. We have increased the number of rounds in Pale Rider's magazine, okay, and enhanced the minimum damage of its hand grenade. Okay, I've always been saying that the grenades should be buffed. Every grenade in the game, aside from the Ashmar's napalm, is underpowered in my opinion. I think all of the grenades, other than napalm, should be buffed in general to give it the power it needs to defeat these tough opponents. So they did not increase the damage of the rounds, they just increased the magazine capacity, so I guess they can just lay down the assault on shields more consistently. We have also increased the rate at which its repair pod can heal damage. Okay, so they nerfed the repair pod big time not too long ago, but it looks as if they undid some of that severity, allowing it to better sustain itself in longer firefights. Okay, so how much? 24 to 30, that's pretty big. Repair pod, oh wow, 120 to 200. I don't remember how much it healed originally. I don't know if this is as strong as it was originally, but it might be pretty close. And also decreasing the cooldown, that's funny. They nerfed him so hard, and then they add a Hyperion, and then they have to immediately buff it again. Hand grenade, that's a pretty big damage buff for the minimum blast damage. That's nice. I still think Pale Rider was pretty good, but he's going to be very, very good once again after this. Zaku II ranged. Similar to Pale Rider, Zaku II ranged has suffered from... Yeah, so I think they're going to be buffing a lot of live ammunition suits in this case if they are so keenly aware of the excess amount of shields going on in any given match. So similar to Pale Rider, Zaku II range has suffered from the increase of shield-wielding units. With Unicorn Gundam's passive skill buff listed below, we feel Zaku II ranged's issues will be further exacerbated. I don't know what they're talking about with Unicorn Gundam's passive skill. The passive skill buff, are they talking about the heal? Because that's the only passive thing, right? It doesn't increase your movement speed, does it? In order to combat these issues, its magazine size will be increased. Finally, I have literally been asking for a bigger drum size. I'm saying drum in this case because on the Zaku machine gun, it's a drum, not really a magazine or a clip. I've been asking for higher ammo capacity on the Zaku machine gun ever since the first beta test I played. I'm not even kidding. It's so funny how quickly it runs out of ammo, when canonically the thing is supposed to hold like 100 rounds or something. Its magazine size will be increased, and the cooldown time for the smoke discharger will be lowered. That's big too, because I think the smoke discharger was already pretty good. I think its biggest issue is just that it ran out of ammo way too fast, and the grenade was kind of lame. That's not that big, though. 28 to 30, that's pretty minor. That's way bigger, I think. They buffed the smoke discharger way more significantly than the machine gun, even though I think the machine gun is what needed buffing more. But anyways, Zaku buffs, I'm down for it. Barbatos, okay. What are they doing? Stun time on a direct hit being nerfed. I don't immediately know which ability Longsword is. This adjustment will make it harder for players to land the mace smash after a direct longsword hit. So, make it harder, not impossible, right? So, I'm assuming this has something to do with his TOD stun lock combo, Touch of Death combo. So it sounds as if it's still possible to do. It's just that it is now a tighter window. So I don't think that really matters because it's still possible. Methuss. Wow, nerfing the repair cable on Methuss. Well, okay, I'll get to that. I think this is crazy though, because I think heals in general, specifically talking about heals from mobile suits, so the Methuss heal and the Unicorn heal and the Pale Rider heal. I think all mobile suit sourced heals should be buffed in general because it feels almost, well, not pointless, but it feels as if there's not much of a benefit in picking a healing suit when the maps have these healing spots that recharge so quickly, right? All of these little healing spots on the ground, the little Haros, they recharge so quickly and they heal you so much. The healing mobile suits feel like a bonus in addition to that rather than them being the primary healing, right? So I was thinking that to make the healers better, they would do it indirectly by nerfing the healing on the maps, or they would just make the healing more on the mobile suit. So I think it's very, very surprising to see the repair cable get nerfed. From 100 to 80 per second. The amount of damage this unit deals has never been high, but the amount of repair it does has always been extremely high. I don't really agree with that. This unit has been especially effective in high rating matches, so we decided to tone down its healing a bit. Maybe this thing actually is cracked at super high level, but I've been playing around high level when I did those tournaments, and Methuss was not used very often at all. So maybe it's just different in Japan. Maybe it has a higher usage rate in Japan. The bullet size going from 1 to 5, though, sounds crazy. I don't know what kind of unit of measurement this is, though, so maybe it's not really that big. But it's funny they're turning Methuss into less of a healer and more of a damage dealer. Pretty funny. Ashmar, lowering his HP. Oh, dang, he had 1,000? Yeah, I think that's a little high. Ashmar's performance and win rate have increased greatly since the last update. Yeah, I wonder why. It's because they buffed that napalm for no reason. In order to keep Ashmar closer to expectations, we will decrease its magazine size. Oh, really? Did I miss something? Oh, yeah, okay. Decreasing its magazine size while maintaining its napalm grenade numbers. So I guess they like the napalm being that strong. We also feel that Ashmar's survivability was high due to its mobility. Yeah, so its HP will be decreased slightly. Lastly, the amount of points required to activate its G maneuver has also been increased. I don't think it needed that because its G maneuver isn't really that great to begin with. So it gets an HP nerf. That's pretty big on the magazine capacity. And that is also significant. So you get the punch less. Dom Trooper. Aw, nerfs. Dom Trooper has been a tournament mainstay, yeah. So even though I main the gun tank and the unicorn, I really only main gun tank in solo queue. When I was playing on tournaments, I had been playing the Dom just because of how consistent it is and how its ult will always provide value no matter what, even if the opponent is ready for it. Unlike the gun tank. With its high usage rate, win rate, and KD rate since Season 1. We will adjust some of its numbers while maintaining its HP in order to balance it out. Minimum blast damage, I really don't like them decreasing the damage on the rocket launcher because a rocket launcher should do a lot of damage, right? And they are also decreasing the damage on the beam. Okay, so I guess they just want Dom to be more of a support, so they're only nerfing its damage, right? But none of its cooldowns or anything like that. Jim. I'm guessing Jim's getting buffs. No? Wow, okay. The shield looked more like an adjustment, though. Our intention in the last adjustment was to make Jim strong against melee units, but it has become strong against all unit types. We will return Jim's HP to the previous amount while modifying its shield bash numbers and giving it a 50% damage reduction while the skill is active. Giving it a 50% damage reduction while the skill is active. So that's the buff part. That's the adjustment part. This should maintain its prowess against melee units while not causing it to become overpowered against other unit types, okay? So they really want it to be okay against melee, which I think is funny because I always considered the Jim as a counter against ranged units because of the shield, but it got countered by melee units because melee units like Barbatos can instantly break shields. So I thought the rock, paper, scissors was that shields were good against ranged units, and ranged units were good against melee units, and melee units were good against shield units, right? I thought that's what they were going for, but apparently not. So his HP is nerfed. Shield bash, yeah, so he gets some kind of damage reduction when the shield bash is active. I think he already has super armor during it, so I guess that makes sense. And the cooldown is going from 4 seconds to 6 seconds. I don't think that's a very big deal, though, because even though that is significant, you don't really ever get a chance to spam the shield bash, even with it being a 4-second cooldown. In any kind of altercation, you're really only getting out one shield bash anyway, so I think it'll stay that, right? And you don't really want to just throw it out. You always hold on to the shield bash as self-peel in case you get ran down by a melee suit or something like that. So even with the cooldown being longer, Jim players are still going to hold on to it and only use it when they get rushed down. Marsai has a low win rate and usage rate. I wonder why, because they unnecessarily nerfed him. In order to strengthen its combat ability, its main weapon's damage output has been increased, okay? Since this will cause its Sea Serpent combo to do too much damage, the damage of the Fedayeen rifle, I think that's the first time I've read that, will be reduced. So the melee attack, the beam blade, is getting nerfed, but the gun does more damage. Because they don't want you to do a TOD combo after a hook, I'm assuming. So that's a little significant. And there is the damage decrease on the melee. I still expect the Marsai to be the most difficult thing in the whole game to balance just because of the hook. And if they want it to be able to TOD someone or not. I'm assuming they don't want any TODs in the game, but you still have to give some kind of big reward after hooking someone. Maybe you can still TOD if you have the ult. Maybe that's how you play him. Unicorn. Added an effect. So this must have been what they were mentioning, maybe? Added an effect that grants armor up to 100 when HP is at its maximum. So are they saying when your ally's HP is at its maximum, you can overheal them to give them a shield? Or is it saying when your HP is at maximum, you can instantly give them armor regardless of what their HP is? I'm assuming the former. That would make more sense, just being able to overheal them. This adjustment has been made to make the Unicorn Gundam more effective when it has a team around it. Okay, yeah, I think the Unicorn needed buffs anyway. I was saying they should buff the healing itself, but this is good too, if it's an overheal shield. So I'm wondering if this stacks with the active shield you can give them. That would be a pretty fast shield. I think the main thing they really need to do with Unicorn, though, is increase his base movement speed, because he's kind of slow, so he has a hard time keeping up with his team. And you obviously want to stay close to your teammates to give them the most benefit possible, right? New Gundam. I'm expecting buffs for New Gundam because I don't think New Gundam is that good outside of the gimmick ult when you want to place a charge or disarm a charge in destruction modes. Though New Gundam's usage has been mid-tier, its win rate has been low. Yeah. In order to increase its performance, we will buff its fin funnels, okay? And in order to help it get more fin funnel stacks, New Gundam's HP will also be increased. That's a lot of HP. Damage going up. The cooldown is going up a little bit as well. That seems as if it balances out. So I don't know if the fin funnels will really be better. Hyperion. Nerfing Hyperion. I do think that the Hyperion had an extremely high magazine capacity relative to other characters, but I don't know if it felt OP because the gun really did not feel very strong. Hyperion Gundam has a high win rate. It is meant to be a defense-focused unit, but its damage numbers have been on par with offense-focused units. We will maintain its defensive powers while attempting to lower its offensive capabilities. Okay, simple. So I think those are the only adjustments with the mobile suits themselves. Is that right? Matchmaking and rating adjustments? Yeah, that's it. So really, not that many patch notes this time. I think this might actually be the smallest list of patch notes since we have been getting said patch notes since the game came out. So let me know what you guys thought about the patch notes in the comments. Let me know if you think some of these are fair or if they are deserved, or if maybe you were hoping for a buff or a nerf that didn't end up happening. And like I said, when the heavy arms gets added, I will be back to playing the game, at least for probably another week, playing the heavy arms, checking him out. And I will see all of you guys later. So thanks for watching, and bye for now.